Listen, do not do this disgraceful thing. Do not do this thing that will shame me. In verse 13, she says, and where could I take my shame? She was shamed. She knew that this act would cause her shame. And as for you, you would be like one of the fools in Israel. So not only would I be shamed, but you also would experience shame because of this act that you're doing. However, he would not listen to her voice, and because he was stronger than she was, he forced her and lay with her. And listen in verse 15, which is probably the worst part of this story, because he could have, in a sense, made it right. Because there were laws at that time that, in certain circumstances, the nearest relative would be allowed to marry a close relative in those times. Now we ain't talking about today, okay? In those times, it says in verse 15, and then he hated her. That was not love. That was not love. So that the hatred with which he hated her was greater than the love with which he had loved her. And Amnon said to her, arise and be gone. He threw her out. He kicked her out of his presence. And the shame, the disgrace, the humiliation she must have felt. She said to him, no, indeed, this evil of sending me away is worse. It's worse than the other that you have done to me. But he would not listen to her, and says that he kicked her out away from her and he bolted the door behind her. This is a family shame that she experienced. And not just that, but he was ashamed of what he had done, so much so that it tormented his soul, and he couldn't stand her because he violated her, but yet he could not stand her. These are the things that cause shame. In a family, the secrets that are held behind closed doors, and her own father didn't do anything knowing what had happened to his daughter. It took her brother, to exact revenge for doing what he did to his sister. This is a shameful and disgraceful situation. And it destroys families. It destroys self-esteem. It influences societies. It influences homes and families. It destroys authenticity of who you are and who you were meant to be.